Pops, we're going to be talking about increasing transparency.
Yeah.
And the infiltration.
The infiltration of what?
Technology in the service and repair side of the auto business. So we've got Dr. Barron with us today.
Gentlemen.
Yes.
And I want to talk about with both of you guys, all this new tech. And Yoni, maybe you can walk us through and kind of give us an overview of what you're aware of. I know there's many companies in the space. UVI is one of them. MyKarma's another one. There's like a whole host of them.
Yeah.
They got these big domes. They got these cameras. They got these sensors. They're really in this position where anything and everything that's wrong with the vehicle can be detected by a camera system and by AI and machine learning and things like that. Bringing transparency to potentially all the repairs that need to be done on a vehicle. And ultimately, what does that do for someone like you, Yoni? I don't know. Like, what happens to the service advisor? What's your take? Level set with us where we are when it comes to tech.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I understand. I think within the next 10 years, you're going to find a collaboration of these companies, like you said, UVI, which is one of them. MyKarma is another company where they can come in and actually supply the customers with their vehicle inspection report, their multi-point inspection, some prior to it going into the shop, some of it after it was in the shop, which is utilized by the technician, and create a form of black and white transparency that when you see what's wrong with your car, and then you're supplied an estimate, you don't really need someone like me to tell you what you need, of course, because you have it in front of you in black and white. And then on the flip side of things, I don't think that there's any way of utilizing a, expert service advisor to sell you those services. At that point, I think you'll probably just need, someone who's automotive educated to answer any general questions because, naturally you don't need to be too technical with things at that point, except for a small percentage of clients, and come up to a conclusion of, yes, I'm doing this now, and, no, I'm doing this later. So it's just going to be a matter of how comfortable are you with that transparency. In some situations, where you're utilizing these artificial intelligence scanning systems, they can pre-sell you the work in the service drive, and you're going to approve it. But then on the back end, while the technician is working on that job, because he's locked into getting that pay rate, he's also making additional recommendations. So now you're getting an estimate and then a supplement afterwards. So still a little bit of a game with it, but for sure, I can see it, moving into the future where dealerships can then cut substantial costs with employment.
Oh my God! So does that mean 10 years from now, when I'm at the supermarket and I need to pick up some deli meats, there's going to be Dr. Barron going number 42, number 42, and you're going to slice my meat for me or something?
What?
Well, I'll tell you where he's coming to with this, because your father knows that I am also a locksmith by trade, where I used to actually slice Nova by hand for our Nova lovers.
So I need more details on that, but after we end the recording, that sounds fantastic. I want to bring this back, though. We are moving in a direction, and I actually spoke with a gentleman who had an interest in learning more about YAA and ended up not really going very far, but I learned more about his business as well. They build out some of these machines because they actually want to get into the direct-to-consumer purchasing of used cars, and they needed a way in an automated fashion without having to hire someone like you, Dad, to go do appraisals. Mm-hmm. They needed to have these dome things that you would drive a car into. They had dozens of cameras in them. They would weigh the thing. They would scan the VIN plate, and then based off of the VIN, they knew whatever the width of the tire. I mean, everything. Then the cameras do all their camera stuff.
Ooh.
Exactly. Send it off to the cloud. Then in the cloud, you got the artificial. We got robots detecting things wrong with vehicles. Is I guess the point I'm getting to. And what you just described is, from that detection, you can pre-sell some work that needs to be done. Then a tech actually gets their hands dirty, rolls up their sleeves, identifies a few other things. Now you're upselling. It sounds like the evolution of automotive repair is going to be robots doing the pre-screen, and then you're getting upsold by a tech. But I think it's super compelling and interesting for everyone to understand. There's enough computing power and enough people spending enough money to invest to build out these dome things to be in a position where autonomously you can figure out what's wrong with the car.
Well, a lot of insurance companies are using this now also, where they'll ask you to take photographs of the damage utilizing your technology to assess the situation in, light cases, not major cases. But for sure, I mean, listen, the ability for what the camera can pick up, over our naked eye is day and night, and speed and timing. It's precision, and it's fantastic in many respects. The medical field, which we're not going to go into, but from the dealership side of things, from the service side of things, it's got its pros and cons. You're getting pre-sold for certain items when you show up, and then you're sold on the back end of things. So they're guaranteeing some income naturally right off the bat, because you're always willing, or tend to be more willing, to pre-approve a few items in advance naturally than on the back end is where you have to reconsider stuff. But if the technician is working on the car, those items that are pre-approved are getting done already. So you're locked into X amount from the get-go.
It's almost as if, and this is one of the sad circumstances of technology, where Yoni could end up being replaced by a kiosk. Okay, yeah. and that is unfortunate. Because
I disagree with you about unfortunate.
It's unfortunate because you lose the human contact and the relationship building that is necessary if there's ever a catastrophic failure of some kind, where a human being can step in on your behalf and do something about it.
Well, this is true too. So, and Ray, and I appreciate it, of course. You and I know that, we come from the old world, let's say, even though there's a little bit of an age difference, where that human connection, that touch, that sensitivity, the emotion makes a big difference in creating a long-term relationship. But hypothetically, someone like Zach, in his situation where he's got 1,000 things going on in life, we've become more automated. It's simplicity, and it's black and white, and there's nothing wrong with that too.
I mean, to be clear, guys, I want to find my next mechanic on TikTok. I don't know what a TikTok is, but I want to find
and I want to see him repair everything in the 30 seconds that you get on a TikTok.
I think Yanni summed it up perfectly, though, Dad. Right? Like, there is from a customer perspective, and we've talked about this in many videos.
Yeah.
There's this perception like, what can I believe when I'm getting repair work done? If it's a machine telling you, even if the machine could be programmed to find more flaws and whatnot, I still have the perception that, okay, the machine's unbiased, it's just telling me what it sees. Versus a Dr. Barron, who, if you find the Dr. Barrons of the world, if you find the Ray Shufskas of the world, you'd love those people to death because they actually support you and help you.
Yeah, the difference is you don't think the machine's upselling you so it can earn a bigger commission.
No, for sure, but it surely earns it a higher, monthly premium to the subscription that the dealership or the manufacturer has to pay for.
Yeah.
But, you're still going to have someone in the background, of course, that you can communicate with. A lot of these VSC companies and some other formats and programs that, you'll still have contact, with a service advisor per se.
Yeah.
But they're going to be your general communication direction naturally. You're not going to have the Yoni in the service drive. You're going to have Mike, who's greeting you, welcoming you, saying hello, and saying goodbye.
Yes.
Or maybe you need like a Your Auto Advocate service advocate or service advisor, like someone like a third party like us where we provide that, we get the report. Whatever. It's in the future, but just some sort of way that you have still some sort of relationship and connection. But I do think that, like, this type of technology, I've seen it. I've talked to people who are in the market of like producing this stuff. Obviously, Yanni, you're seeing it as well, and it has implications not only on repairs but also on the used car side. So, kind of replacing folks that do inspections. We can inspect it without having to get it up on a lift even necessarily. Although obviously there's things that you can see when you're doing that a computer can't and the cameras can't. But it is interesting, and directionally it's where we're going, I think.
It's unfortunate.
Dad, you and I are getting these arguments about self-checkout at the grocery store. I think it's the best thing that ever happened. You think it's terrible.
The worst.
It's the best, fellas. It's the best.
It's the worst.
It gives people...
You're replacing human beings with machines.
It gives people time in their day to go do other things.
And between us, it doesn't take my wife's coupons as easy. So.
There, now you have it.
All right, Yanni set me straight. Well, Yanni, thanks for bringing this up. I find it super interesting, and I'm excited to see where the next few years take us in this front.
Yeah, no, I agree too. I mean, I think it's a huge advancement. I think transparency is what we do. It's what the technology is going to do for us also, creating an ease of service, but it finding a way to take away manpower, human power, the connection. That's the tricky part behind it. So it'd be interesting to see how they can, mesh together both systems.
I'm still not sold. I like human beings.
Nova locks, Grav locks. Like, what's your? Gravlox, yeah, me too.
We'll talk.
Thank you, Yoni.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Nice to see you.